back to Whisper. What are you up to?
Well, after Whisper's found all the information, he decides to clean up the office because it's messy.
Okay.
He also douses any light in there and draws the blinds and covers the windows, making it dark.
Does he leave?
No, he gets into he kind of just hides in the shadow in the corner of the room and waits for and he unlocks the door too.
Okay. Sometime later, you would wager it was about a couple of minutes, maybe 10 at most. The doctor steps into the room and he's a bit puzzled. Did he blow out the candles before he left? No, he was sure he hadn't, but he fumbles around.
Mr. levitates him off the ground and holds him in the air in place.
He gives a loud cry of surprise.
He locks the door too.
Okay. So the guy's now crying out for help and for the guards. I'm not going to actually yell out because neighbors, but yeah, he's calling out, help! God, please help! And what do you do? If it's money you want, you can have it. Please. Just say what you need.
I need no money. I merely have questions. The collectors that were here. They have been taking your patients and doing experiments on them. Terrible things. And then disposing of them. Who are the collectors?
What? What are you talking about? What experiment?
The collectors. They come by, they take your patients, they torture and mutilate them, experiment on them, and then dispose of them. Who are they, and under what authority have you been handing them over? By the way, Whisper's making sure to stay behind him and deliberately levitating his back to him. So he's just a disembodied voice to this guy.
They were from the homeless shelters and the schools. They said they were under the employ of Lady Flemeth.
Lady Flemeth, eh? Did they leave you a token? Some sign of proof? I assume you don't just allow anyone coming through here claiming to have some kind of affiliation and then just taking their word for it?
Yes.
Very well. What token did they leave?
On my desk, draw second one down.
So there was staying to the shadows, Whisper releases him. Collect it for me.
He nervously goes and goes around and grabs a slip of paper, and you take it.
Excellent. And what's on the slip of paper?
By approval of the Council of Tagura, it has been requested that this patient be taken into the care of Lady Flemeth's home for the unfortunate, and you see an official seal on the paper.
And when was this handed to you?
It was when I first met the collectors.
So you recognize these same collectors again?
It was always they wore masks, but it was always the same uniforms every time.
So, If I was to show up wearing that uniform, you would just hand over the patient. No questions asked.
The doctor pales as he realizes he may have made a very, very stupid mistake.
The body count is in the thousands, sir.
I swear I had... How do I... Wait a minute, he says, suddenly getting defensive. How do I know you're not lying to me? You barge into my office, assault my personage, make ridiculous claims about some mysterious organization responsible for the death of apparently thousands.
Whisper immediately levitate. He uses his telekinesis to suddenly open the window. To basically open the window and then levitate the man off the ground again. You should calm down, sir.
I'm sorry.
I have made no accusations. I am investigating those deaths. And the trail has led me here, as well as to many other hospitals. Which means you are not the only one who's made this blunder. Still, it is troubling to know that they were able to circumvent natural, normal protocol so easily.
Look, sir, I am just a doctor. I don't run this hospital.
Very well. Now, my friend in the hallway is taking a shower. I intend to hand over. Yes. As I said, we just came from their headquarters. And as I also said, the body count was in the thousands. The smell on him was bodies. Now, this here is evidence. I would also like to confiscate many of the materials here. If you need to make copies, that's understandable. However, this is evidence in investigation now. Do you understand?
Make an intimidate check.
Do I get any bonuses for levitating him off the ground with an open window?
+4.
15 plus 16 plus 4.
You succeed.
Okay.
He did not do well in his will save. He can't. However, that is when the door kicks open and free! Put the doctor down now!
I'm assuming that's not what you call it, Coon kicking down the door, because he probably would have heard the sound too.
Yes, So back to Kun. You had just finished off your shower when you heard the sound of guards, please help, and guards running in the direction of... Well, who else? Who do you think would be responsible?
It's like Kun just kind of has a analyzing, processing, ding, keeps walking
towards
That's
Whisper or away from Whisper?
keeps going to the shower. He said he was going to take a shower, and he is keeping.
No, this was after you had just gotten out of the shower. I said.
Oh, after I gotten out of the shower.
Yes.
While I was in the shower, Kun also wanted to take a specific look at the kinds of shampoos, and he's just trying to memorize their names and any possible ingredients.
All right. Perception check.
All right.
Considering the timing of everything, I
Use
imagine...
No, yeah, perception check. But use intelligence instead of wisdom for the bonus in this one, because this is about not just identifying, but also committing it to memory.
So, well, yeah, he wouldn't be able to. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be able to identify it. So his plan is to just ask Whisper, because Whisper probably knows.
Touché.
So,
but at least you're gathering the names, committing them to memory, etc., etc.
So yeah. Okay, so 31.
You succeed in getting a few of them down, committing several of them to memory.
Yep. So yeah, just committing to the memory, puts two and two together. He's like, well, I'm pretty sure. I'm leaving before it gets dicey. Okay, he just walks by the receptionist's desk and says, thank you very much for letting me use your shower. I know this is probably very unorthodox, but I was very stinky. And then he just walks out.
You're on your own, Whisper!
Confused receptionist noises. Back to Whisper.
Alright. So Whisper...
there are about 3 people in Gambeson armor who are pointing weighted wooden sticks at you in a threatening manner.
Whisper kind of nonchalantly waves a hand at them. Stand down, men. This hospital is under suspicion of colluding with kidnappers and murderers. I have confiscated evidence of the event, and an investigation must be made.
Diplomacy check. Get a +2 bonus.
22.
Alright. So, they should go over. Sorry, sir. My apologies, sir. How may we help you, sir?
This man, I would not like to completely relieve this man of his official work documents, so several of the documents here must be copied, must have copies made of them. The evidence will then be taken to the capital, where it will be examined, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of this. You no doubt heard about the raid on the church not too long ago?
Raid, sir? Sorry, it is...
You'll be hearing about it soon then. We recently raided the supposed headquarters of those murders and kidnappings.
Yes, sir.
We followed one of the trails here. We'll be investigating a couple of the other hospitals nearby.
It's quite clear that a lot of this is kind of going over their heads. You realize these aren't so much the city guards, and certainly not the elite guards that you'd run into a couple of times. These are the hospital's rent-a-cops.
Whisper gathers quickly that they don't seem to be that bright. Never mind. Simply secure the location and make sure no one leaves without going through proper channels. I don't want any of the potential criminals leaving with potentially sneaking out with any incriminating information. Also, if you see any suspicious activity, like someone trying to burn evidence, that would also be something I would put a stop to immediately.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. As you were. Now, as for you, Doctor, Whisper sets him down. I imagine some cooperation would be in order here. Do you have any other evidence that might assist in my investigation?
The doctor thinks. What is it exactly you're investigating? You mentioned something about a raid? It's okay. So you found people killed, and you have reason to suspect it's connected to this spell?
There was... I'm never sure how much to tell you people. So, I mean, if you believe me, you'll probably... If you end up believing and I tell you everything, you'll probably go white and be completely incomprehensible and useless. And then if you don't believe me, you'll be even less than useless and probably dismiss everything I have to say. We followed a report that certain questionable individuals were ticking and people were disappearing. We followed the evidence, discovered a nest of dark magic, experimentation, and piles and piles of bodies. We used a trained hound to follow the undeniably awful stench from that location to several hospitals, including this one. Does that sum it up for you well enough?
He pales, but he swallows and nods.
Now, the collectors. Anything? Are there collectors? Are any of the collectors planning on coming anytime soon? How frequently did they come?
The collectors came, I would say, about once a week to pick up certain individuals from the
Certain individuals. What kind of individuals?
That's the thing. Usually they picked people who were fit, able-bodied, strong.
And that was consistent at all times.
Come to think of it, yes. I didn't think much of it at the time, but they were physically they were people who were quite fit, and they were often people who, if I may be impolite, were unlikely to be missed, unattacked.
That suggests that nearly every single time they visited, it was not the official channel that saw you. It was the criminal. If you were going to do experiment on someone, who would you select?
He doesn't say anything, but the small nod he gives and the pale look in his face, you know that he has put the pieces together as well.
Good.
But that's the odd thing. They didn't take anyone the last time.
Really? They didn't take anyone, and why? What did they give a reason?
Well, no. Well, instead, they didn't take any patients. They asked for a list of names of one of the patients. They asked the names of the patients. They asked for documents like you did. I handed them over, of course. I saw no reason not to, though.
Did you?
And he actually gives. Well, that's the thing. I often take more than the regulation amount of copies. They never said to hand over all of them, so I didn't.
Alright. Now, seeing how they're looking for physically fit, healthy individuals with no ties to family or acquaintances, are there any names, in particular, any individuals or any locations that you suspect they would go to, going off of the lists they collected? As a trained physician, your professional opinion would be appreciated.
He stands up and looks around. The obvious location would be the guards, if we were going purely off of the able-bodied, but that would be far too obvious. They get caught in a second if they were going for the guards. The docks, a few sailors around there, people like that going could go missing, and you have a lot of unattached people in those locations. But it's still public out in the open and likely to get noticed.
What about at night?
Night could work. The
Hmm.
homeless shelters would be your best bet. People come in there, and the collectors said that they worked for the homeless shelter. That would be an excellent ground for them